hate the job you're at, but you've been there for such a long time. You know the ins and outs, but how do you leave? And why listen to this episode and to me in particular? Well, I know a thing or two about hating a job. I've been fired 3 times, quit 2 jobs without a savings, and changed industries twice. And in this episode, I'm sharing all the deets of what I've done and how I've helped my clients in the past 6 years, my hundreds of clients, find a new job or industry. So I'm sharing all the strategies, scripts, and tips that have successfully helped my clients. And you get to have it in this episode. You are welcome. All right, let's drop the beat.
Hey, I'm Elaine Lucartas. I'm a business and career coach for women of color and allies. LA Weekly awarded me the #1 thought leader, and Apple News named me one of the top 5 business coaches. Done doing the most as a woman of color or ally, and you want to create your own definition of success and happiness? Well, grab your coffee, tea, or boba, and let's do some business and career real talk. Here's what we're going to cover. It's literally the exact methodology I teach my clients. So I'm going to save you money. You are welcome. We're going to talk about 4 things. 1, being aware why you don't like your job. 2, the deep question of, are you really safe where you're working at? 3, the importance of doing informational interviews. And 4, how to update your resume and LinkedIn. So let's just get into it. Number 1, being aware why you don't like your job. Maybe your body knows and you get this visceral reaction whenever you think about your job or when you wake up every day. And it's actually important to get clarity on why you don't like your job. So I want you to take time to journal what you don't like about your job. And here are a few things when I reflect back on the past jobs I haven't liked and what my clients have experienced that might help you identify why you don't like your job. Not getting paid enough, you don't like your boss, you don't like the work culture, or you just don't like the job responsibilities you're doing. Maybe you applied to this job, you're told you're going to do all these amazing things, but you're not. Or maybe there was job cuts and there's a hiring freeze, and now you are doing 3 jobs at once. Maybe you just simply hate what you do, and that's kind of scary because you've been there for a while and you know this industry really well. So what do you do next now that you're older? Or you just want a work-life balance. You've always been focused on your career, and now you're tired. Now it's kind of hitting you that there's more to life than just working. And guess what? I have experienced every single thing I just shared with you. And that's what makes it so easy for me to support you in this episode. So journal, get clear on why you don't like your job so that you know that you're not going to repeat it again. Now, second tip in this episode is asking the deep question, are you safe? And if there are things in this job that you don't like, that makes you feel uncomfortable, I want you to ask yourself, do you feel safe enough to provide feedback? Whether it's to your direct boss, to HR, to whoever it needs to be. For example, let's go back to this example I talked about from the first tip. Maybe you want a raise, but you know there are budget cuts happening. There's hiring freeze, and it's impossible to bring it up. Why even bring up that you want a raise when there's no money there, despite knowing that you've brought in X amount to the company? So maybe you don't feel safe enough to share with them that you need it. Or maybe there are things that you've seen at your job that you don't like. And you've seen other people provide feedback where your boss or company has gaslighted them, and they might gaslight you for other things. And if there is something serious, I would absolutely consider and advise finding and talking to an employee employer lawyer in your state. You want to protect yourself. And to protect yourself, if there is something that's going on, you want to save everything in writing. Put emails, save it as a PDF, put into a USB, forward emails, do whatever you need to protect yourself and save that paperwork. And yes, unfortunately, I've had clients go through this. And I always highly encourage them to protect themselves and talk to an employment lawyer. And if the reality is that you don't feel safe at all, then perhaps this is a sign for you to start looking elsewhere. Third tip, the importance of doing informational interviews. So before I talk about informational interviews, what are informational interviews? Well, it's connecting with individuals in your network and asking them their experience about their job and industry. It's a great way to save time doing job hunting, applying to jobs that you're not sure of, and actually getting qualitative data direct from the source. It's even better than Googling or using a search engine. By doing informational interviews, you're actually saving time so that you can learn more about the specific industry or company. Maybe you're not sure if you want to stay in your industry from other individuals. And it might also be great to vent about things and realize you might not be alone experiencing things if you still want to continue being in your industry. So that's what informational interviews are. Oh, and I also want to share, let's kind of put a pause on informational interviews. Before we talk more about informational interviews, I actually want you to ask yourself, what is the life you want to create, right? So before we jump on, talk about strategies on doing informational interviews, what's the life you want to create? Not just professionally, because I know this episode's on how to find a new job or industry, but what do you want personally? So maybe you have kids and you want to be completely present with them. Take them to school, pick them up, help them with homework. And your job just is not giving you the flexibility to be present. Or maybe you're just so burnt out, you realize that you're treating your partner, your loved ones, like they're leftovers because all your energy is spent in your career. And for me, when I was working in the political sector, which was no longer a good fit, I was so burnt out. I knew what I wanted was I did not want to continue putting my personal life last. I was missing out on family gatherings, parties, and not being with loved ones. I remember a coworker bragging about how she was missing her friend's wedding because of the work we were doing. And that was a good thing to her. And I just did not want to be like her. And I was realizing I was turning into her. By the way, nothing to this individual. It was just the work we were doing when I was working in political campaigns. I didn't want to have that life. I simply wanted a life. And maybe you relate to everything I'm saying. So journal about the life you want to create, how you want to feel, not just professionally or also personally. So let's go back to informational interviews. I just did not want to leave that out about the life you want to create. First, whether you want to still be in your industry or change industries, I want you to journal what industries you possibly want to be in. And it's okay if you're not quite sure. You could list them out. And if you want to change industries, I want you to check out episode 63 on how to change careers successfully with Ava. Ava's my client, and we talked about how we used informational interviews where she was interested in 5 different industries, narrowed down to 1, and then within 2 sessions, she was able to transition into her dream industry and job. All right, so make a list of all the industries you're interested in. And then second is go through all of your professional contacts, whether it's on LinkedIn or Gmail or your phone. Go A through Z, make a list of 2 types of people that are in the industry or job that you probably are interested in. And it's okay, like I said, like maybe you're interested in 3 different industries like project management, event management, and accounting, finding 2 people in each of those industries. So put those people on the list. And not just those people, but also put connectors. So think of president of the Chamber of Commerce or people that just know everyone. And I want you to interview and talk to at least 5 people. The third thing is send a personal message to reach out. This is literally what I did when I was doing informational interviews, wanting to get out of the political sector. I think I talked to about like 15 people. You don't have to talk to 15. You could start out with 5 and send a personal message. The tip is to send it 15 minutes before the work starts, depending on their time zone. So let's say it's the East Coast, you live in California, and you want to send out an email at 8:45 Eastern time, then obviously schedule that at 5:45 and send a message where it's personal, like subject heading, hey, first name, would love to reconnect for 20 minutes. And in the email, how are you? How's your kids? It's been a while since college. I'm thinking of wanting to do a career change in project management. And I've seen you've been in this industry for 10 years. I'd love to get your insight and advice to see if this is even something I'm interested in doing. So I'm free Eastern time next Monday, 1 to 3 or Tuesday, 4 to 6. Let me know what date or time works best for you to connect for 20 minutes. By the way, if you're like, Elaine, you are talking way too much, guess what? You are listening to a podcast. So feel free to rewind on how to send this message. I'm not kidding you. This is literally the playbook I give my clients. So you are welcome.
Legacy leader. I know what you're thinking. Elaine, you have such good stuff here. I want more. So if you want more tips and advice for your business, career, and life, sign up for my GIFS and GIFS newsletter at elainelu.com/join. That's JOIN. And here's 3 things you'll get when you join, because I'm like Santa Claus. I love giving. Number 1, funny gifts, because who doesn't love memes and pop culture references? This newsletter is so fetch. Number 2, receive actionable gifts. That's business, career, and life tips that you can start doing today. Third, the gift of me. Not only do you get my wins, but also my failures, my reflections. My Gifts and Gifts newsletter is like an up-to-date diary. Think Zynga or Life Journal for my fellow millennials, where I share vulnerable stories, relatable mistakes, and important life tips like what to watch on Netflix, like when's the next Bridgerton season. So if you're ready for those fun gifts and actionable gifts to create a more sustainable life, then join my newsletter at elainelu.com/join. That's JOIN. All right, let's get back to the episode.
All right. You're probably thinking, Elaine, what are the questions I'm going to ask during this informational interview? I got you. So here are some of the questions. 1, what made you get into this job or industry? 2, what do you enjoy most about it? 3, I'm considering transitioning into this industry. Any tips or advice? Or here's another question if you want to stay in the industry. I'm not sure if I still want to stay in this industry. So I wanted to see what were your tips and advice on how you found the right job within this industry. A 4th question, what are important skills and experiences needed for this industry? 5, do you know 1 or 2 people you can connect me with so I could seek their insight and advice? And then the final question, what's your mailing address? So those last 2 questions, like, do you know 1 or 2 people you can refer me to? That question's important. During that conversation, they may know someone that could help connect you with someone else. The reason why you're asking for a mailing address, I did this and my clients did this, sent a handwritten thank you card saying, thank you so much for talking to me about your experience working in this industry. I just wanted to say thank you. And here's a $5 Starbucks card. And just know they gave you their time to connect with you. And when you're asking these questions, make sure it is conversational. Don't have it so stoic. And mind you, these are questions that I'm recommending you ask. So there might be questions you want to ask. For example, maybe it's really important to you that you're hybrid or completely remote. Like, hey, is it possible to have a hybrid or a remote job? That might be important to you. Or maybe you have kids. Like, can you share with me if you're able to balance having a family, having kids? And here's the most important thing that I remind my clients to do after each informational interview. Reflect. What did you like or not like about each conversation? Not about the person, but each conversation. Maybe you're an extrovert and you realize a lot of the job that you thought you were interested in is in front of a computer and not connecting with a lot of people. So maybe you just don't want to do it. Or maybe you're seeing, when you're talking to someone, you're getting to see why they are a perfect fit for the job or industry that they're in. And you're not like that person, And there's no right or wrong, but you just simply aren't. And you probably aren't a good fit. Or maybe you are talking to someone, you realize, you know what? I really like what they're sharing. I think this is something I'm interested in. Don't worry about having to go through all these conversations and finding the one. Think of informational interviews like dating. That's what it is. All right. After going through conversations with informational interviews, at least 5, now comes the 4th. Update your resume in LinkedIn. After doing these informational interviews, like I said, reflecting, you should be more clear of what you don't want to do and what you want to do. So let's say you want to be a product manager. Well, look up top product manager jobs online. Go to Glassdoor, go to Salary, go on LinkedIn. Even if it's not in the state you want to be in, what's important is you get to see what are the words, keywords, skills, and experiences people are using. So print out the 3 to 5 that you're interested in, highlight the patterned words, skills, and experiences. Then make sure your resume and LinkedIn are updated with those words, skills, and experiences that you found online. And remember, informational interviews are also qualitative data. You just had all these conversations. Use the jargon that you heard from there and update it. So the reason why LinkedIn is so powerful, it's an SEO engine. It's a search engine. So for example, let's say an employer is looking for an accountant, but they want someone with a CPA, which is a certified public accountant. So they're going to do a search on LinkedIn and look for anyone that has a CPA, and maybe more particularly working for a specific industry like healthcare. And that's what they're going to search for. So you want to be able to use those, update your resume in LinkedIn with the right words, skills, and experiences. There you have it. I gave you the 4 exact steps I coach my clients to when they are looking for a new job or industry and how they've been successful in getting it. 1, be aware why you don't like your job or industry. 2, be honest and ask yourself, are you psychologically safe in this job or industry? 3, there's actually 2 parts to number 3. 3, daydream and journal what you want out of your life, both professionally and personally. And the second part to number 3 is start reaching out to your contacts, do informational interviews. 4th, update your resume and LinkedIn with top job descriptions and qualitative data from your informational interviews. I know what you're thinking. Is this really it, Elaine? It is. And congrats for taking the time to invest in yourself, to listen to this. But it's really important to implement and integrate. And if you want more information, more hope that you could do it, well, listen to episode 27 with my brother on how I actually coached him to successfully change careers doing informational interviews. Actually, for him, he did informational interviews, updated his resume, and a recruiter hit him up. So you're going to want to listen to episode 27. And then another episode is with my client, Ava. It's episode 63 on how she was able to successfully change careers, narrowing down 5 industries she was interested in and getting a new job within 2 sessions. At the same time, Ava does share candidly and vulnerably how it was really hard. And if you need further support on finding a new job or industry and want to work with me directly, just know I only work with 24 clients at a time to ensure client results and experiences. And because I've limited the amount of clients that I work with, I interview each person to see if it's a good fit by providing introductory career coaching review call, where I treat you like a paying client, give you 3 action items so we can see if it's a good fit. And to schedule that call, go to elainelou.com/call. That's ELAINELOU.com/call.
I get it. If you've been at your job or industry for a while, but what made me be courageous enough to change industries, whether it was when I left political campaigns to the nonprofit sector or the nonprofit sector to being a business and career coach for women of color and allies. I was just tired of being unhappy and lashing out to my loved ones that I wasn't happy. And maybe you are experiencing this too. So if you found this episode helpful, here are 4 things you can do if you feel called to do them. 1, if you could leave a 5-star rating and review, that would mean so much to me. I created this podcast for accessible education for women of color and allies. Each episode takes about 4 hours to create. It takes me 1 hour to prep, and depending on the episode, it takes me about 30 minutes to 1 hour to record, whether it's by myself or with a guest. Then my team spends another 2 hours to edit and market. So I would love for you to leave a rating and review. 2, because I care about accessible education. Share this with a friend who will benefit from knowing they can successfully find a new job or industry. And when you share this with a friend, send a personal message on why they should listen to it. 3rd, don't forget to hit that follow button. When you hit that follow button, it lets the interwebs know how important this podcast is to women of color and allies like you. And then 4th, if you would like to save time on finding a new job or career and would love to receive an individualized aligned action plan where it integrates with a proven method that has helped hundreds of my clients in the past 6 years become more happy and aligned, not just in their career, but also personal life, then schedule an introductory legacy career review call with me. I only work with 24 clients at one time to ensure each client receives the results they deserve. So you could schedule an introductory legacy career review call at elainelou.com/call. That's ELAINELOU.com/call.